Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to the second official episode of 22 and No Clue. I'm your host, Kyle Gasheru, and joining me for this one is another special guest, someone I've also known for a very long time, lifelong friend. So welcome to the pod, Mr. Joss Wardley. How you doing, Joss?
Hey man, how are you? I'm not bad. Been chilling. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. Thanks for coming on. You guys, well, if you're listening to the audio, you will know, but if you're watching the video, you'll know we're doing this over FaceTime because Joss is back home in Kenya. So yeah, how is it? How's back home?
It's not bad. There's some struggles. You don't get the independence like you do in the UK, but
Yeah,
it's not bad. At least the weather's good.
yeah, no, that's the main point of envy. It's always good weather back home. But yeah, let's get straight to it. Like I said, I've known Joss for quite a while. We met, if you listen to the first episode. We also met back in Paponi, P2. So I just wanted to kind of similar to what I asked him, ask how you found boarding school, Paponi, that whole boarding life.
Yeah, boarding was different because we started, I guess, we were 13, 14 when we started boarding school?
Yeah.
So it was quite weird to first time you're going, I mean, we both did weekly, it wasn't as bad as the difference wasn't as much, but we still were going from Monday to Friday, leaving home, coming back the weekend. But I remember the first weekend we did boarding school, the first weekend of P2, I got home and I was like to my mom, do you think it's okay if I do full boarding? And she was like, we live 15 minutes away from school. You're not going to do full boarding.
What? You wanted to become a full boarder?
Yeah, I think it was just I enjoyed it so much. So I was like, and after the first few weeks, I remember because I shared a room with Tim.
Yeah.
And I remember Tim telling me, oh yeah, we go to the cinema, we go bowling on the weekend.
Yeah.
And it made it seem like such like a nice thing to do. And he was like, the weekends are so chilled. So I was like, it's better than being at home, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because I remember, especially like towards year 12, year 13, we'd go and do more things, like going visiting the malls, all of that. So yeah, that full border life did seem quite luxurious to some of us guys who'd go home on the weekend. But yeah, like most of us, we made the transition from high school coming over to the UK for uni. I know you went to Newcastle. So I just wanted to ask how you went about picking Newcastle, how you found it up there in the north.
Yeah, so like Tim said in the first podcast episode, it was a bit similar where I was like, so my first degree was biology.
Yeah.
So I kind of looked at, I kind of had two charts that I put up. One was the biology chart, like the best universities in England for biology. And then I was scrolling down the list, and obviously I had to compare it using my predicted grades and what I think I was going to get. So I couldn't go too high up the list, but I didn't want to go also too low. Yeah. So I think Newcastle was about 20th or 22nd for biology at this time. So it was that was kind of where I was looking. And then I went on my second list, which was the best social life in England for each uni. And I think Newcastle was either second or third. So I was it kind of works out that Newcastle would be my top choice. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, by also saying that, because I know your girlfriend also went to Edinburgh, right?
Yeah.
So did that also affect your decision a bit, going you'd be closer to her type of thing?
I think so. I think we kind of said we shouldn't do it based on but then she got into either Imperial or Edinburgh Uni. Yeah. And then she decided to go to Edinburgh. But it's actually, I thought I was going to be in Edinburgh because basically my second choice was Heriot-Watt, another university in Edinburgh.
Right.
And our grades came out a week before the unis the uni decided if you're going to be accepted or not.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
my grades wasn't what Newcastle were asking me. Yeah. So I saw those things, and for a week I was like, well, I've not got into Newcastle, so I'm probably going to Heriot Watt. I'm probably going to live in Edinburgh.
Right.
And then the day the uni's things, I just got an email saying congratulations from Newcastle, and I was like, they allowed it.
Wait, so how did they switch up if you didn't get what you needed?
I don't know, because I think I needed something like, I think I was 2 grades below what I needed.
Yeah.
But I can't remember at the time. I remember hearing on the news, people being like, this is like the lowest marks, like
Yeah, I
lowest
remember.
average marks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, go to bed.
Yeah. So I think they were just like a bit lenient, luckily.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, yeah, that all worked out. And like you said, you saw social life was number 2 and number 3. And I know from some of the stories you've told me, it can get a bit wild up there. So how did you find the social aspect of Newcastle?
It was a bit different. I mean, I think, like, even though my parents are British and I used to go to England a lot, I feel even moving, because I was born in Kenya, going back and living in England, I know you probably felt the same. It's very weird, like it's very different. Like the way people act and stuff is very different. I don't know if you found that when you first arrived.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was weird to start with, and I kind of I had some other Kenyan friends in Newcastle that I knew lived there and were there from the year before I came, but I kind of wanted to step away from seeing them the first few, I think it was the first 2 months.
Right, right.
Just because I was like, I don't want to fall in that thing of like only like going out with Kenyans and only like, because I wanted to also see like meet like people who are in my course, people who are on my degree and who are in the same accommodation with me, and then also have that Kenyan friends in Newcastle, which I probably saw like once or twice every week. So it wasn't like after the 2 months. So it was quite a good balance.
Yeah, and because I know, even especially because I went to Kent, and Kent has a very big, like, not only Kenyan but like East African and like just Africa in general, African community. So I know quite a few people who like they wanted to come here and not necessarily always be hanging out with the same crowd that they would hang out in like back home, expand their boundaries or whatever. So yeah, I can definitely see why that would be like a major factor for you. And yeah, you said you did your undergrad in biology. How did you find it? Bio. I mean, because I remember that was one of my worst subjects back in P2 in high school. Man, that was rough for me. But how did you find it?
I mean, I liked learning. I think I preferred it to learning, because I did. What did I do at A level? I did biology, chemistry, and geography.
Yeah.
And out of the three, those I was kind of like, I was leaning to more bio, because one, I like what I do now is conservation, so I always liked conservation. But then when it came to uni, because it was just biology, it was quite wide. So learning about like genetics and molecular biology, that's the bit I kind of found tough. But that's why when I did my master's, I kind of narrowed it down, because I was like, I don't want to continue doing molecular and genetics. Well, I do have some genetics, but I don't want to like focus in on it, because it can be quite complicated for me personally.
Yeah, and just say, what did you do your master's in? And because I remember you're really going for it, because you did it straight after your undergrad, yeah?
Yeah. So my master's was in conservation and ecosystem management, which like you said, I did it straight after. So I finished my undergrad in June and started my master's in October, around about then. But the main reason was COVID. I don't know even if I would have done a master's if it wasn't for COVID in that way. Like, I'm happy I did one now, but because we were in lockdown in the UK, I couldn't fly home to Kenya because they had put us on the, like, both countries had red listed each other.
Yeah.
So I remember coming to Brighton.
Yeah.
When we went to Brighton to see Tim.
Oh yeah, in the summer.
Yeah, and before that, like the week before, I was like, what am I gonna do, man? Like, am I just gonna work and just like continue working, like find a job in Newcastle?
Yeah.
And then I was like, maybe I should do a master's because I'm here, so I might as well stay an extra year and do a master's. And then when we went to Brighton, I found out that my master's was accepted. So then I actually lived with some people that I just messaged on Instagram because like I knew them from undergrad, but we weren't close. So I just messaged them and was like, yo, can I move in with you guys? And they were like, yeah. So it's just a bit like the last, like for 3 weeks, I was just like going from, I don't know what to do to I'm on a master's program living with these 3 people I hardly know.
And yeah, I feel like that's just, especially this period of our lives, like that's just what always happens. Like you can be doing one thing 1 minute, then like things just switch up and you're thrust into this whole new different experience. And yeah, because I know personally I was kind of at the same crossroads of what am I going to do? Am I going to go do a master's? Am I going to try and kind of do what I'm doing now, like trying to work and like doing different internships and whatever. So yeah, I can definitely sympathize with you on that, on the very big switch up.
Yeah.
And I know because did you, like, because obviously at the time COVID had influenced your decision to stay in the UK. But do you think if things were how they are now, would you have stayed to do your masters, or would you have come back home to get straight back into work?
I don't know. There's a part of me when I finished my degree was like, my first degree, I was kind of in that felt too safe and comfortable being a student that I wasn't ready for the real world. Like, I wasn't ready to find a job. I still wanted to be a student. I still wanted to like do student nights. I still wanted to, have that social life students have. And I don't want to worry about the rest of it. So I don't think I was ready. But if I wasn't in lockdown, then I don't know what I would probably may have come back for a year, come home like to Kenya for a year, and then maybe decided that I want to go back to uni and do a master's for next year. But it's hard to tell what I would have done. But I don't think I was ready until last year when I finished my master's. I felt like I could go into the real world and could start like my career.
Yeah, because obviously what you studied was quite specialized. So I just wanted to kind of switch it to what you're doing today. Do you think having your master's helped you in securing your job? Do you think you'd have been able to get the same job if you only did an undergrad in like general biology, for example?
I think I would have. So for the job, I'm currently an intern at agroforestry. Part of it's like a section of the UN. They work close with the UN. But I think I could have potentially got a similar job as if I didn't do my master's. But I feel like they wouldn't have. One, I wouldn't have had a better understanding of the stuff I'm actually doing for ICRAF. And 2, I feel like they wouldn't have given me the amount of freedom or like respect in that sort of way. If if I'm like, oh, I haven't had a master's, I don't really know too much about what I'm doing, stuff like that.
Yeah, I can definitely see why that would happen, because obviously you, like you said, you're born in Kenya, but I guess you kind of have that unique perspective of being your family's British, but you were born in Kenya, lived most of your life there. So, for all like intents and purposes, like you are Kenyan, but obviously did you find like you had any obstacles in trying to enter the job world in Kenya? Because I know a few people have said like after they graduate, there's usually a few hurdles, like they go back home, they're not able to find a job. So did you find kind of you had the same or even more obstacles in job hunting?
Yeah, definitely. I'd say there's not many like job forums here. Like I
Yeah.
feel in the UK, you have people posting on LinkedIn, you have
Hmm.
Indeed, you have all these forums where people post looking for people.
Yeah.
Whereas here you do have LinkedIn, but not many people post, or they only post for like higher positions.
Hmm.
Or but there's no Indeed or anything. So it was a bit of like trying to. So for me, I was just googling like NGO companies in my industry,
Right.
and then just sending mass emails and emails. And I mean, I arrived home on the 4th of September last year,
Hmm.
and the first time I got the internship was in November, the end of November, and it started in December.
Yeah.
And they offered me, which I took, but they offered me 3 months no pay internship. So I said, well, I can do 2 months because realistically, I don't want to do 3 months working for you for no pay.
Yeah.
So I did 2 months with them, and then I I had a contact in this ICRAF place
Hmm. Hmm.
that I'm working at now, World Agroforestry, and he helped me go through some hurdles to get my CV to the right people.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I started about 2 weeks ago. But I'd say the biggest hurdle is pay. If you don't have like, I'm thankful that I have my parents to support me
Yeah.
while I can work, but the pay is just not as good as the UK. Definitely not as good.
Yeah. And I mean, you'd expect, I guess you'd kind of expect it more back home, but in the UK, like these unpaid internships, man, they're, there's something else because I don't want to go into too much detail, but like kind of I've done a few internships where I was also unpaid. And it kind of just got to the point where it was like I'm doing all this, putting all this effort, kind of in the hopes of getting paid eventually. Because my situation in particular, like getting into too much detail, was we can't pay you right now, but we're planning something, and if it works out, then you'll get paid. So it was that thing of, I've come out of uni. I don't want to just be idle, so I want to get busy. So I'm putting the work in, I don't even know how many hours into this one thing. And then in the end, it didn't even work out. So the event got like canceled or postponed or whatever. So yeah, I think that's just the reality for a lot of
Sorry, I'm on a
students.
call, Nicholas. I'm on a call.
Like someone walk in.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I'll just cut that bit out. But yeah, that's the reality for the reality for a lot of students. And obviously, not everyone is lucky enough to be able to be supported by their parents for however long. And that's something I've seen, especially here in the UK. People having to get just jobs to get by. But yeah, that the whole unpaid internship is something that personally I've put in my rear view. Like that's something I do not want to do anymore. Because I feel like the quality I was putting in, like, because just to be brief, like my thing was like the managing of like their social medias, and you could see like the difference in quality if you go to their page right now, difference in quality between when I was there and managing it to now. It's been a bit of a dip, but
Yeah.
yeah, but that's the whole thing, like, because it's easy to get like manipulated at our age. Like, they'll give you like, oh yeah, you're a young guy or young girl or whatever, just do this for the experience, and then you can put it on your CV. But you gotta realize, like, most people are not able to do that. Like, you need to get by, you need to make a living. So yeah, that's personally one thing that I've put in my rear view, and I'm kind of the reason why I started this podcast. I wanted to focus my energies into something that's my own. I'm in control. So yeah, definitely can go on and on about it, but the unpaid internship thing is as the experience can be good, but it, I feel you should get paid for what you offer.
Yeah, especially because I feel like with interns, you get you. I don't want to say the worst jobs, but you get that thing of like they're giving you like, especially for me, I found they're giving me like I don't want to talk bad about the job I'm working for now, obviously, but they're kind of
Yeah.
giving me that stuff of like, okay, you're doing data collection. So basically, my days are just spent on Excel, just collecting data from websites and stuff like that, which is like tedious jobs that
Yeah.
personally they wouldn't want to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like you're given like the hard, not the hard work, but like just the, yeah, like I said, the tedious work.
Yeah, which is which I understand you have to do at the lower levels, but when you're not being paid, there's no motivation at all because you're just like,
Yeah.
I'm, especially for my last job, like the people there were really nice, and what they're doing, it's basically they're doing a census of lions in Amboseli. So they're trying to work out how many lions live in Amboseli, which is a really cool project.
Yeah.
But I was working from home, never got to go to Amboseli for 2 months,
Jeez.
unpaid, just collecting, just doing data work.
Yeah.
And I was like, for those 2 months, it's just for a few words on my CV. It's a bit unmotivating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I can definitely see how, because especially the appeal of being able to go to Amboseli. That
Yeah.
did you think you'd be able to go when you like first applied for the job?
Well, there was like a few words like, yeah, you can come see this, you can come visit the site,
Right.
and stuff like that. And when I was first told, they were like, "Hi, we're Lion Guardians. We do census and tracking of lions." I was like, "This is sick! Like, I'm gonna be out there tracking lions."
Yeah.
But no, I was just creating maps on my laptop at home.
Oh wow. And yeah, because I know you also did a few jobs in Newcastle. I think the one I remember the most was you worked as a bartender, right?
Yeah.
So how did you find that working in Newcastle as a bartender?
It's pretty funny because the club we worked at was I say we because nearly about 5 of my friends worked there.
Yeah.
So the club was like the biggest student club in Newcastle. It was 4 floors, and they served 2 treble vodkas and a Jaeger bomb for $6.50 when I first started working.
Oh my goodness. What?
which is crazy, but seeing a club from the other side of the bar really opens your eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of my friends has just started working at the same club, and he was just like, it's just crazy to see to see the club from the other side of the bar.
Yeah, I can imagine, because especially if it's those big nightclubs, especially student ones. Like, obviously, I've only experienced it from the consumer side, but I know like working there must have been hectic, especially on like busy nights.
I remember one story quite. They so usually, you know, when there's a cheesy music on, I think it was ABBA. When the DJ like stops the music, then the crowd sings, yeah.
Yeah.
Like for 10 seconds, then he starts playing it like a sentence or so they sing. Well, basically one night the music stopped, yeah, and the whole club was continuing singing the song because it stopped before the chorus. And then after about 30 seconds, we were like, yo, what's happening? Why isn't this guy turning back on the music? They've sung the whole song. And it turns out a drunk person had spilled their glass over his decks and completely destroyed everything.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, yeah. Some of those student nights do usually get so wild, bro. But yeah, from, I guess, just taking it back to the working aspect, how did you find, what were the main differences you'd say between like the job working in the UK versus like working in Kenya? So like the payment process, the application process, like what were the main differences you've seen so far?
Um, it's been so I've had quite a few jobs in the UK.
Yeah.
I started off one in Edinburgh that my sister worked at.
Yeah.
So I kind of just sent them an email. They responded, being like, "Okay, we have interviews coming up."
Mm-hmm.
And that was when in my first year when I applied for that one, and I worked for them for about 2 years, but I didn't do many shifts because obviously I lived in Newcastle.
Yeah.
And then I got another job at this student nightclub,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of just messaged them on Facebook, and they said,
Right.
"Okay, send your just message the page on Facebook." And I said, they said, "Send your CV." So I sent my CV, and then they didn't reply for about like a month. So I did it
Mm-hmm.
again. I was like, "Hey, do you have any jobs opening? This is my CV." And they kind of said, "Okay, we'll review your CV and get back to you." And about 2 weeks later, they still hadn't got back to me. So I just messaged them, being like, "Hey, is there any update?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, come tonight for your trial shift." And
What?
I was like, "That's a bit short notice, but okay." And then I just went, and yeah, and then I worked there for like nearly a year, and then it was disrupted by COVID.
Oh man. But yeah, because I guess that whole aspect of just kind of going out there and sending your CV, sending messages, sending emails, it's kind of the same everywhere. But I feel like back home it might be a bit more who you know, who your connections are.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you felt a bit of that in Kenya?
Yeah, definitely. Because like since I've been back here, I've also applied to jobs in the UK,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it does take long for them to reply, but a lot of the times they do just send me like a generic email saying you didn't get it or you have an
Yeah.
interview with us, which is at least they've replied. Where I feel like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of companies I emailed here, they didn't reply at all.
Right.
And it was only through sending my CV to people my parents had connections with,
Mm-hmm.
or stuff like that, where I started to see more replies. And then before I took this job, like I had 1 week where I had 3 people saying, "We have a position for you."
Yeah.
Whereas like it was weird because I had been here since September and
Mm-hmm.
got one response, and then in 1 week got 3 responses. So I was like,
Yeah.
it was a bit strange, but I think it just, yeah, my connections definitely help. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing about back home that I guess it's kind of a slippery slope because you do need to have good connections. And I think that's mainly for like our age group. Because I was at an event yesterday for a few Kenyan scholars who have come here to study in the UK through like the Commonwealth scholarships. And one of the main issues they'd say was, first of all, when they complete the program, they have like 30 days to leave the UK to go back home. As soon as you submit your final dissertation or whatever it is, you have 30 days to like pack up and go home, which is, first of all, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
then when you go back home, it's kind of like, okay, I've spent a year in UK, and now I've just in 30 days I've come back home, but like, what am I doing next? And most of them have
Yeah.
said like they had like a year and or like a year and a half where they just couldn't find anything to do, like they were unemployed, didn't have any jobs. So I feel like in this kind of space we're in right now in our lives, it's very, very weird, especially with everything that's going on in the world at the moment. Yeah, it just seems like we can't catch a break, man. Since 2020, everything has been cursed.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but in terms of, I guess, the social aspect and working culture, do you think you prefer being able to work in Kenya? Because obviously you're able to still stay with your parents and be supported by them. Whereas if you're like me over here in the UK, I'm just by myself on my ones, just toughing it out, longing it out. So which do you think you would prefer?
The thing is, I've wanted to go back to the UK for a while now.
Yeah.
I was planning to go back in January, and then I got the job in December, so it pushed it back to so it pushed it back again from December till February.
Yeah.
And then in February, I was like, okay, in February, I'm going to leave. And then in January, I got this job that I'm currently working at offered to me. So then it pushed it back 3 months. So now it's in May that I'm planning to go back to the UK.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel, yeah, my parents, I've been so lucky that I have my parents can support me
Yeah.
while I'm not earning the money that I can support myself here.
Yeah.
But it also comes with the disadvantages of freedom. So I know in the UK, let's say you wanted to go to a bar with your friends, you could walk there, grab the bus,
Yeah.
you do whatever you want. Here, especially because I live quite far out of town, it's like, can I take the car in today? Is like, I won't be late. Can I take the keys? You know what I mean? I don't want to wake you up at night. Stuff like that, which has its toll. But I think with the UK, you get a lot of freedom. But it just depends. A lot things are more expensive than the UK, obviously.
Yeah, because obviously right now, I'd also mentioned it to Tim because obviously he's here as well. Because there's the whole energy crisis in the UK. Like, I got my bill for February. Hey, the prices have like tripled, like for the
Really?
energy. Yeah, and I like the whole of Jan. Like once this whole energy crisis started, like I have not been using my heating or nothing, but still, like the prices have still gone up. So. But then, yeah, I guess it's the whole thing of balance, because on one side you're back home, you're able to be supported by your parents, but then, like you said, you're not just able to just leave your house. Like if you're here in the UK, just leave your house, catch a bus, go wherever, come back at home whenever. You're not disturbing anyone. So I can definitely. It's hard to balance the pros and cons of living back home or living over here.
And you always feel like the grass is greener, you know what I mean? There's always that thing of if I was in the UK, I would have this, whereas when I'm in the UK, I'm kind of like, I just want to go home. The weather's it's too cold, man. Stuff like that.
Yeah, you're never satisfied. But I mean, in terms of long term, because obviously, I'm not sure, is your girlfriend back home or is she still in the UK?
She's in the UK, yeah.
Yeah, so
she
in terms
works
of
in Edinburgh now.
Yeah, so in terms of long term, do you think you'd see yourself working and living in Kenya or maybe moving somewhere else?
Well, I've kind of been debating, but I think for the first few years, I'd like to live in a city. I feel because I'm in conservation, a lot of the jobs are elsewhere, especially here in Kenya. Like it's not like an office job or anything. A lot of the jobs are not in Nairobi. So I think for my first few years, I want to live in a city for the social life. Potentially more likely swaying to the UK just because it's higher pay and I want to have a bit more freedom with money rather than just living off week to week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just having money to go out and stuff like that. I'd rather have like money I could use to invest, money I can use to create things, stuff like that. So I think for the first few years, I'm swaying more to living in England for a while. And then obviously I'd rather do conservation in Kenya than in England.
Yeah.
Like I say to people, I'd rather be looking after lions than looking after squirrels.
That should be your mantra, bro. That sounds like one of those Tumblr posts, the quotes.
Some deep posts.
I'd rather be looking after lions and squirrels. Sheesh. But yeah, because I know, especially for your thing, conservation and like it's mainly to do like the wildlife. So I guess it would make more sense to obviously want to work in Kenya. But then, like you say, it's kind of that how to balance it. You'd have more, I guess, in terms of like career-wise, you'd have more fun looking after animals in Kenya. But then in terms of like pay, you might benefit more in the UK. So yeah, it's kind of how to balance it out. That might be a bit tough. Because yeah, just bringing it back to myself. Obviously, I studied law, so I guess it's a bit more even ground in terms of opportunities and like qualifying as a lawyer in UK or in Kenya. But I guess pay is also a bit different. I'd say in the UK, obviously, just because it's a stronger economy. But like you say, there are some. There are always you can always say the grass is green on the other side in Kenya
Yeah.
or even here in London, for example.
But it would. I know you were swaying more to sports law. So does
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
if you're still interested in that, would that have a big factor? Because obviously, sports is a lot more developed in the UK than Kenya.
Yeah, well, like you said, sports is more developed in the UK, but then I guess the benefit of doing, like, for example, sports law in Kenya. So, like, even recently, like, FIFA banned Kenya because of the kind of the current state of the federation, and like the government getting involved. It's like a whole different topic, but yeah. So in terms of like sports in Africa is developing, so there'll definitely be more opportunities to be able to be there from the ground up type of thing.
Yeah,
So whereas here in the UK it's like a bit more developed, so like guys already have so much experience. You're like trying to get let into the door, whereas in Kenya it would be a bit more of you'd be part of the people building it up type of thing.
yeah, that's very true.
So I think long term, in terms of like right now in my life, I would want to stay out here, get as much experience as I can. Like I said, sports law is already pretty much developed in UK and in Europe. So try and expand my legal network here, gain as much experience as I can. But then ultimately, I think I would want to go back home and give back to the country where I'm from, where my family's from. It's this whole thing of being able to give back to your community. Because I know quite a few. Like there's one lawyer I've met here. He was originally from Kenya, but he just came here and he stayed here throughout, like working here in the UK. But personally, I'd want to be able to, go back home and just be able to contribute and like help build up sports, not only in Kenya but in Africa as in general. And that's the topic that I've been discussing a lot with some of the people as well. Just how we can improve the sporting scene in Kenya and in Africa, because and this is also something I was talking about yesterday. It's this whole thing of like back in P2, like all of us we play football like almost every day, consistently playing, because obviously we had the facilities in our school, we had the pitches, we had whatever we wanted to be able to do so. But then as guys have like gone to uni, then like graduated and now like working or whatever, like most people have like fallen off playing sports. Like even me myself, I'm like finding it difficult to what I yeah, like even I'm right now finding it difficult to, find somewhere to play football. I'm trying to find an 11-a-side team that I can play regularly on the weekends. Because recently I was also asked what I feel. I was asked by someone who's kind of trying to implement change in Nairobi, and he was asking me what I feel some of the key changes I would implement in Nairobi. And when he first asked me that, to be honest, I was pretty clueless because I haven't been back home in a few years now. But then I guess if I just thought of it from my own like perspective, and kind of my own like what I'd want like socially or physically, it was this thing of maybe increasing like opportunities for people to play sports, because the main thing and one of the reasons why I wanted to go to Kent in particular was because I wanted to be able to like engage in like usual like football. Like you have the amateur leagues, you have the Sunday leagues, where people like make their own teams, you go, you play. Whereas I feel like in Nairobi, that's one thing that's kind of, able to do. And even though that's kind of a very, I don't want to say privileged, but that's a very not very important thing. But then it does kind of contribute to like socially when I want to be living back home or living over here where I feel like there's more opportunities for me. But then obviously that's because obviously I'm a massive football fan. I like playing football.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure even you've seen like, or how have you found like the social aspect in being back home and working there? And I know you've already alluded to it before with, you have a bit less freedom, but in general, how are you finding the whole social aspect?
Um, yeah, it's difficult because the one thing is the main people I see is either people from school, so
Yeah,
Moses, or people from uni, my Kenyan friends who went to Newcastle.
yeah,
Um, but it's quite hard, I think, meeting new people, unless it's through connections again. So, like, if I go
yeah,
to like um, a barbecue, like we've had a few barbecues recently. So when I went to the barbecue, I met some of my friends' friends, and then that's
yeah,
how the only connection. Whereas, like you're saying, through sports is a big way to make connections, and
yeah,
it's not like there's nowhere to play because recently there's been so many astroturfs, five-a-side pitches, which have been coming up,
yeah,
and it's across Nairobi. It's not just in one place now. Actually, I was meant to go play five-a-side today, but last night I watched too many episodes,
wow.
so I couldn't wake up in time.
You're that guy. You're that guy.
But to be fair, I didn't confirm, so I didn't let anyone down. But
Yeah,
yeah, but literally the only way is I was added to a group chat because my friend was in the group chat, and I was added to that group chat, and then they sometimes say, okay, like next weekend let's go play football. But when I was at uni, we had a five-a-side. I was in a five-a-side league,
yeah, yeah,
and like every year, you'd have a league, and you'd literally run like a league, and it wasn't just one league. It was like different leagues for the abilities. So you go on the first day, you're with your team, you play like a few rounds against random players, and then they even make it into a big league in which you can climb for the next year. Like you
yeah.
can climb the table, which was a sick idea. There's like a sick idea that it would be amazing to see something like that here. Like they probably is, but it's not advertised as much or stuff like that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, because I feel like personally that was just one of the main things that I wanted to come out here and experience. But obviously that's very specific to who I am as a person, and some people might prefer other aspects of life back home.
Yeah,
But
but I guess the good thing is, sorry, I was just going to say the good thing is
yeah,
you can now you're in the UK and you've seen how like how these leagues are, how the availability of leagues, and even with your sports law stuff, as we're
yeah,
going back to how we were saying the UK is more developed. I guess now you have that knowledge of how it runs, how everything works, which you can implement back home when you eventually do come back.
yeah, you could. But then I guess it's kind of the whole. There's going to be lots of red tape and bureaucracy that you have to go through,
Yeah, that's true.
hoops that you have to jump through. Because yeah, I think because just from speaking to my dad a bit about this stuff because he's involved in the sector, kind of trying to manage sports in Kenya can be quite challenging, and then especially when it comes to football. Obviously, Kenya has its own unique football kind of scene. Then this whole debacle they have with FIFA where they've been banned. But yeah, I guess the only thing I can do personally is try and gain the best experience, try and sharpen my skills, broaden my knowledge, and trying to hopefully one day I can go back home and uh, hopefully make change. Because I feel the main point I've always said. Because personally, I feel like if we have kind of what the UK has here, where from young, like you're able to, they have under sevens, under nine, under 11. If we had something similar back home that was kind of dedicated to developing sports, I know like quite a few of us that maybe would have been able to make it pro, in football or other sports as well. If we had kind of that from young, like a youth, proper youth development. And that's kind of what I'm trying to, whenever I go back home, I try to do with my little brother Christian.
Project
trying,
Mbappe.
yeah, trying to do a project Mbappe with him, whenever I can, training him or doing whatever with him. But yeah, that's one thing. Like I'd say you'd have to start with like doing it from young, so you can, because there's so much talent in like the whole of Kenya and even Africa as a whole. If you're able to like develop it from young, then you'd be able to build up not only the talent, but then also the football scene in Kenya itself. You'd be able to enrich its talents.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I also think I guess for us we had stuff like sports in school, but the thing was it wasn't, our coaches weren't football coaches. They were
Yeah.
coaches which taught every single sport. You know what I mean? We had
Yeah.
we had the same coach for every single sport. I say in P2, the only really concentrated sport was hockey, because we had a personal hockey coach who was primarily there to teach hockey.
Yeah.
But apart from that, other sports I can't really think of. Maybe apart from the basketball coach, but
Franco. Shout out Franco.
I wouldn't say he was a specialist.
Damn, that threw me back, man. But yeah, but like I said, if there was one thing I'd change if I go back home eventually, it would be to like start developing it from young. But yeah, I guess that's just like a long-term goal, long-term vision. And then I guess the main thing with like people our age, we're all focused on like ourselves and like the here and now. Like if you speak to most people, and I guess you can't really blame us because, you're thrust into like the world of adulthood, the various challenges that the current world has going on, the various obstacles we've had to go through, the past 2-3 years. And, I guess you can say it's kind of hard not to be pretty individualistic and like thinking of, I need to, try and find work for myself, try and earn money, try and make a living. While at the same time, like kind of the generations above us are looking at us as, okay, you guys, you go to your degree. Like the amount of people that tell me, yeah, you're gonna become the next whatever the next wave of lawyers in Kenya or whatever. But I guess from our perspective, we're not really thinking that long term. For most people, at least. Do you think that's something that you've experienced, like through what you've been doing? It's just kind of been like the here and now and what you're trying to do right now.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say even right now I'm still a bit undecisive.
Yeah.
With what I actually want to do, what my end goals are. Like I have ideas, but if someone asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years, I wouldn't know what to tell them. You know what I mean? So like the internship where I didn't get paid, I was working on mapping out lions and working with wildlife. Whereas now I'm working in agroforestry. It's like, although it's all kind of conservation, it's very different sides of the conservation world. One's mainly looking at how we can restore wildlife, and the other one's looking at how we can combine wildlife with agroforestry, not wildlife, but forest with agriculture. So working with people to develop forest. So it's quite different. And personally, when I left uni, I was like, after I left my undergrad and a bit of my master's, I was like, I'm not going anywhere near plant biology ever again. And now I'm working in plant biology, so it's a bit, I'm just trying to test the waters. But yeah, I don't know still deciding what I want to do.
Yeah, and I guess it's kind of consistent with why I even made this podcast, and kind of just wanted to map out uh, my own and like you guys, my friends, journey as we kind of, you know, make our way through the world, make our way through life. Um, and yeah, I mean, we've spoken a lot about kind of your job experience in Newcastle, how you're finding it in Kenya currently. So I just wanted to kind of switch it to a lighter topic now. I've already alluded to, obviously, we're both very big football fans. Unfortunate to say we're both Man United fans, given
Well,
the
I don't know
current
about
state.
both of us, man. I think you're turning into a Brentford fan.
Oh, okay. No. Let me actually,
You're
yeah, let me just set the scene because the I can't you can't knock the affordability of those Brentford tickets because
yeah.
yeah, if anyone follows me on Insta, then you probably have seen like I've been to like a few Brentford football games, and the reason for that is a they are very cheap. I think they're the cheapest in Prem because literally I pay 25 pounds for a ticket, and that puts me literally row one, like where, like literally at the very front row of the
That's
stadium.
crazy. That's
And
crazy
like,
for the price.
yeah, and obviously as a United fan, you know, I've been looking at United tickets. Even I think it was like FA Cup or something, and I was seeing like £100, and that's for like you're in the tier 3, tier 2 up
Yeah.
there. So
It's a good job you
yeah.
didn't go to the last FA, man.
Yeah, no, I know. But yeah, in terms of just supporting Brentford, it was, yeah, I like I was in London and I'd never, before I went to the first Brentford game, like I'd never been to a Prem game before. So it was the whole thing of how can I be in the UK and I've not watched any Premier League football? So
Yeah.
bought
No,
membership and yeah.
although I roast you a bit for it, I fully believe in fans on loan. I think as players
Fans
can
on
go on
loan.
loans, fans can also go on loan.
Yeah, right now they're fighting for they're trying to stay up, man. They're in the relegation fight, so it's a bit peak. But because I mean, if you look at the way United is moving, um, drew against Watford yesterday. I didn't even watch the game because obviously 3 p.m. UK games aren't shown live. But
Oh
did you
yeah,
see the game?
yeah. I actually went to a friend's house to watch it, which is a bit annoying because there's three of us. We had a barbecue, watched the game. We're all United fans.
Yeah,
And it's just so frustrating to watch us dominate a game and then draw 0-0.
yeah. I feel that's been our problem this season, hasn't it? Like so many chances. I don't know what's happened to my guy CR7. And I guess the main thing I've seen, like from guys on Twitter, they're saying, you know, with the amount of chances we're creating, you can't really blame the manager because obviously the tactics he's made or he's implemented, like they're enabling us to make the chances we just can't finish.
Finish, yeah.
So, yeah, I
Um,
mean, what do you think of Ranick? Do
yeah.
you think he's a good like interim so
Yeah,
far?
I think he's been good. Yeah, like you said, he's allowed his tactics have allowed us to create so many more chances than we would have
Yeah,
expected.
yeah,
Um, um, I mean, going from Ole, who I believe was on vibes, to seeing some a bit of a bit of tactics implemented is
yeah.
pretty good. But one thing I hope is that we don't get carried away once we start finishing the chances and put him as a permanent manager, because as much as I like him now, I don't want him permanent manager.
Right.
I'd rather have someone else and him, because they promised him in interim and then he still works for the club as a consultant,
Yeah.
which I really like the idea of, because I feel like he's got the knowledge, especially working for Red Bull, becoming, what was he, head of the Red Bull Football Association, was that it? Not
Something
sure what
like
it's
that.
called.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. It's crazy to have him at the club, but I don't want him permanent manager, because that's what we did with Ole, and didn't turn out as well. But who do you think? In the summer potentially, who would you like to see as a manager?
Uh, in terms of manager, I don't even know, to be honest. At the current moment, I'm thinking mostly about the players because If you look at our summer signings, like on paper, if you told me like we would have signed Sancho, Varane, and CR7, like that's
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Um, but then yeah, I don't know. I feel like Ronaldo, he's nearing that stage where it's like
Aging,
might
man.
be time for Miami, my guy. Might be time for Miami. But no, maybe not Miami, but somewhere not Prem though. As much
Yeah.
as it pains me to say, because obviously he's the guy that, like, one of the people that made me fall in love with football. But I think for next summer, I'd say the main thing I want to see personally is a young striker. Because obviously the state of our club, we have Martial out on loan, then we have a man like Mason. He's about to get
In
locked up
jail.
for whatever he's
He
done.
deserves it, but
Yeah, so I think we need, even though although Alanga recently he's kind of come up.
Alanga is just he's
Yeah,
amazing
he's
to
been on
watch,
fire.
man.
He's been on fire, but I feel like he'd be more like better like on the wing, like kind of Rashford's position, because
Yeah, definitely.
Rashford has also been a bit out of touch, to be fair. So I think we need like a young. We need a Haaland. That's what we need.
Yeah, or even if we don't get Haaland, if which it's very a lot of people are gonna go after him. I think you know that Isaac,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Isaac,
Yeah.
yeah, from
Repping the
the
Swedish shirt.
Swedish guy. Yeah, he's I think he can be potentially sick for us. But going back to like you're saying, we bought in so many good players. I saw
Yeah.
this Twitter post, and the guy was like, "How come we bought in one of the best right midfields, young potential right midfields in the world,
Yeah.
and now he's become our best left mid? We literally bought him in to be our right mid, and he's now our best left mid."
It's because Rashford has been slacking, bro. I don't know
Yeah.
what's happened with him. But yeah, I feel like our players, they just need, I don't know, man. It's like they need a switch up or something.
Yeah.
And then we have old man Edison Cavani's just there for vibes. He plays one game, he's out for 7.
Did you see that thing, the stat? Was it 39 games out of 90 he's not been in the match squad?
Yeah, bro. This guy, like, even the day I think it was the day before we played Leeds, he was at that boxing match in Manchester.
Yeah.
Like, my guy was at the boxing, and we had a game the next morning. Like,
He's just on herbal tea and vibes, man.
yeah. But yeah, in terms of summer signings, what are the main positions do you think we need to strengthen for United?
There's a few factors, but obviously putting the obvious one out there, we need a CDM, someone who can control the min. Because currently, I don't think we have a good CDM. Matic has become too old. Even Fred, I think Fred, when we have someone like Matic on the field, it allows him to go up. And I think he's actually pretty good at creating chances upfield.
Yeah.
Whereas when it comes back to defending, he's not actually that good. So if we get a solid CDM who can play the ball and become a pivot, then that's probably our main thing. And then obviously we get Donny back, which I think is good, especially if Pogba leaves, which is still a bit...
Man, do you want him to leave? Personally, I don't know.
The thing is, I feel like he did come to United and he's wasted a lot. He could have done a lot
more
elsewhere. Yeah, but he's one of, I think, if not, he's one of the most talented individual players in our squad on his days, man.
Yeah, definitely.
So I don't want him to leave in that aspect, but at the same time, because I like him so much as a person, I also think maybe it's time.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tough one, because it's both him and Lingard who kind of the contracts are running out. So
yeah,
I mean, Lingard, what is he, like 29 coming on 30? But it still means he's the next generational talent.
Lingard is 29 coming on 21, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Lingard especially, because if you look at our bench, like apart from Elanga, if we didn't have Elanga at the current state of our club, like we'd have to be bringing on Juan Mata, like for subs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we need a bit more youth in there, young players, and yeah, I think at the main positions we need to fill, like you said, CDM, and then I'd also say a striker, because
Yeah.
obviously Cavani's gonna be going. Obviously not to show about Ronaldo because
I think he'll
he does
leave.
what he wants.
Yeah.
Like even with Juve, like in July he was saying, yeah, I'm committed to Juve. Then in August, my guy was boarding a jet and trying to force a move. So yeah, I think Ronaldo was just for nostalgia. Like it was obviously great to see him back, CR7
Yeah.
at United, but
And we just didn't want him to go to City, man.
yeah, I think that we definitely got played by his agent. Forced us into signing him because, like, yeah, I don't think no one else had the financials to sign him when he wanted.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of some of the goals he's given us though, like champs and some of the last minute winners, like
Yeah.
it's been live, man. Enough to make a grown man shed a tear. Um, but
I'm
yeah,
nervous about the second leg. Talking about champs, man. I was I was just saying, when we played Atletico, I
yeah,
looked at Atletico's bench and I looked at our bench. You know, when you
bro.
scroll down on the football app, the first names I read was Jones, Mata, on our bench, and what's that? Heaton, Jones, Mata, and
Tom
Heaton.
Heaton.
Yeah, on our bench, and then on their bench was Suarez, Griezmann,
Yeah,
and I
man.
was just
The
like,
yeah, we need to bolster our team. Like no joke.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see. I mean, do you think we're gonna get top four this year? The way it's
I
currently
think,
looking.
I mean, have you seen our next fixtures?
I know they're tough, but then I guess I'm just kind of looking. I think West Ham just won. I had the game on in the background. I think West Ham just won against Wolves. Then also Arsenal are also kind of on form. But then obviously I guess Tottenham are a bit wobbly.
Yeah, and Arsenal have 3 games in hand on us.
Yeah, I
And they're
know.
like,
Like
like,
it's totally in their hands. Like they can go top four,
yeah.
even I think go a few points behind Chelsea. So
They can pass Chelsea because one of their games in hand is Chelsea, so they could
oh
potentially
yeah,
finish
yeah, true.
third.
Which is crazy. And to think at the start of the season, Arsenal were literally battling relegation.
Yeah,
Guys were placing bets on them to get relegated.
but that's the one thing I'm excited for. The end of the season is the Arsenal documentary.
Oh, the Amazon. Oh, that thing is gonna
Yeah,
be. That thing is it's
the
gonna be Oscar worthy.
that the last rumor I heard was that Odegaard and Lacazette were getting with each other in the showers.
What?
That was the last rumor I heard. It is
Where
going
did you hear
quite
that
big.
from, bro?
It's Twitter. I think they had to make a statement. I think it was Arsenal. Lacazette's agent had to make a statement. I
What
could
on
be
earth?
wrong, but yeah, it kind of got out of hand.
Yeah, no, that sounds insane. But yeah, no, some of the things that have happened at Arsenal this season, it's gonna be juicy. Like especially
Aubameyang
Aubameyang. Yeah, Aubameyang. Uh,
skipping training to get a tattoo.
yeah, some of the things he's done, I hope is well documented. Like the guys, I hope those guys know the weight on their shoulders. The whole world is waiting right now.
That was the mad thing. I watched I watched the Tottenham one when it first came out.
Yeah,
And that was, if it came out mid-pandemic when we were at
yeah,
the
yeah.
height of it all, when we were in full lockdown. And I remember in the documentary they were like, 3 cases have been found in the UK. So we're worried about having to shut the Prem down. And I was like, I looked at the thing and it was like 45,000 cases reported today. And I was like, go back to when it was 3 cases to 45,000. It's insane.
Yeah, yeah, bro. But yeah, I think I like the whole concept of these documentaries though, of like
Could
being
you
able
give
to
insight?
show us like how like what actually happens in these clubs. Like I'd love for United to do one just so I can, because
Yeah.
naturally as a fan you'd want to know like, because I guess most people like place these players on like pedestals and like what they see on the pitch is like it's not always what happens. Like there's so many inner workings, inner dealings, even like to the manager as well. You get to see like a different aspect. So I really like the concept of the behind the scenes Amazon documentaries.
Definitely. I think they should do it. I don't know. Is it once every 2 years they're doing it? Or
I'm
is
not
it
sure
every year now?
because I think it might be every year because obviously we had the Tottenham one 2020, then they did Juve 2021. So then now they're doing the Arsenal one,
The Arsenal
so
one,
which will be 2020. So I think it might be every year, but I'm not too sure.
It's a good insight.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess there's one topic I wanted to pick your brain about. Mr. Cat Zouma. See what I did there?
Bro, my brain had to process that.
Okay, yeah. Kurt Zouma, who obviously I think it was a few weeks back now, like 2-3 weeks back now. Video came out of him and the cat. What were your thoughts and your initial reaction to seeing the video?
So my initial reaction was I watched the video and I was like, what the fuck has this guy released, man? One, was it his brother?
Yeah, his brother. Yeah, his brother.
Who's also a football player, was taking the video.
Yeah.
And I was like, obviously that cat should have been taken away from him. Like he shouldn't have a pet if he's gonna do that. But also, why film it and then why post it?
Yeah,
Which was
$1 million question.
Madness. But then I don't know. As things started to unfold, I thought it was right that the RSPCA got involved, and it was right he got fined. But I think the reaction on Twitter and some of the forums was, when you compare it to other scenarios, such as racist footballers who have said racist stuff to other footballers, it was a bit like,
it's not
I don't know,
proportionate.
it was a bit it wasn't balanced to what it was. So it was a bit weird seeing that part.
Yeah, because I think on the sponsor side, I think it was Vitality dropped West Ham, Adidas dropped Zouma, and then I think there's another sponsor, I'm not too sure, that also dropped West Ham, because obviously they decided to play him in their next game anyway. So yeah, I think from that side, like seeing one of their main sponsors dropping West Ham as a club was a bit like,
it's a bit
like where's some of these reactions in different scenarios, you know? But then I guess, I don't know, in terms of the situation itself, it's obviously very, very insane. But then I think, I don't know, I'm not sure, because I don't want to say it might be like a cultural like difference or like in a different mindset, but like the whole thing of, it's not even like someone hacked them and like found a video in their camera roll. Like his brother filmed it and posted it on his Snapchat, and then obviously someone on there leaked it. So I have no idea why you would do that. And then obviously his brother played for like, I think it was like Dagenham and Redbridge or something, which is like in League 2 or League 3 or something.
And
then he was like, they just released him. So yeah, in terms of like obviously the fine, okay, yeah, fair enough. But then I know a few people who are like saying, yeah, he should be sacked as a West Ham player. He should be, I don't know what. So I think to the extremes that people have gone, and then also a few people have picked up on it, like there's no, where's that same energy for other more important issues or just as important issues, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think if you're gonna hit back, like if you're gonna take so much from Zouma for doing this, then you need to take the same amount of energy you're doing with other events, such as there's been so many players who have been like racist towards other players, and you just like, they just get like a fine or like a two-day match ban. You know what I mean? And it's not even racism. I mean, Suarez bit 3 people.
My guy's on a biting spree.
And nothing happened to him. You know what I mean? He got fined, I guess, but you know what I mean? The difference is
I think in today's day and age, like I think footballers just need to be smarter, man. Like on what they're
Yeah.
doing and how they're moving, especially in this day and age of social media. You know,
What do you think about? I was reading this thing about footballers because they're paid so much. People think that, like, people are saying that there's a theory where because they're paid so much and because in the past they've been getting away with stuff by using NDNAs. NDNA, is that the right?
NDAs.
NDAs. That's the one.
Confused me for a second.
NDAs. And stuff like this, they can get away with it. So now, in this time of, like you're saying, in the time of social media, they have this God complex where they
Right.
think they can get away with anything. And now it's catching up to them. Now social media has cancel culture, which if they do stuff like this, then like they're gonna have it on their resume and record for such a long time, and more things are coming out. Benjamin Mendy, Mason Greenwood, So it's what do you think? Do you think there is a God complex to an extent?
Might be. I think so, because especially for the kind of the youngster aspect, some of these guys, like for example, if you take the Greenwood situation from like when he broke onto the scene at like what 17, 18, people have been telling him like, you know, you're the guy, you're the man. Then he's obviously earning so much money, and then obviously whatever happened. So I guess you can attribute some of what you're saying, like these guys are paid so much, they're propped up, they're idolized, you know, people are telling them they just have yes men basically, some of them, just telling them you're the best, you want this, you can have it, you know. And I guess it's just checks and balances, being able to, I guess, have a steady foundation, family life, that you can rely on for your values and who you are as a person is very important. Because I've had this argument with my girlfriend as well. Like she always saying like these guys are paid like so much. Like even Zouma, the 250K fine, like that's 2 weeks wages for him. Like that's if you take that in perspective, like 250K is two weeks wages for Kurt Zouma. Like, but then I guess it's just this whole thing of sport has become so commercialized, and rightly so, because you know they make so much money, so it's only right that they earn their fair share. So I guess it's two sides of the same coin, maybe. But yeah, I don't know.
But there's obviously like there's people. I see it in a lot of. I've seen it in some European players, but mainly in players from Africa. I feel they do so much good for communities back home.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like because we live in a world where a player doing a player doing bad is an article more likely to be clicked on than a player giving to charity or building homes.
True.
It's like, unfortunately, we live in that world. A lot of the good they do
goes under the radar.
Goes under the radar, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, I mean, it's just how it is nowadays. But yeah, it's also on the flip side, you know, some of these things coming out is also good, so people can stop idolizing the wrong people. Realize that some of these guys don't deserve to have their freedom, basically. Some of the things they do. But yeah, I mean, it's just the world we live in today, to be honest. And then also, did you see recently the Roman Abramovich giving up control of Chelsea?
Because of he gave it to his charity. Was it
the
his
charity,
charity?
the Chelsea Charity Foundation or something like that.
Yeah. which he also owns. So
Yeah, there was this meme I saw. I'm gonna try and find it and like if on the video put it up. But there's this meme I saw from like The Simpsons where remember the guy that owned the power plant.
yeah,
I can't remember his name, but like basically he in one of the episodes he named his parrot or his cat as owner of the power plant. So whenever someone would try and sue them, it would be the cat and not him.
okay.
And that's kind of basically what he's done right
Yeah,
now.
if they get
Because
sanctioned,
yeah,
as
because he
yeah,
still owns it, but it's not in like he's not in control anymore. So you can't really
yeah,
if they freeze like his assets, they can't. Then Chelsea will not be effective, which obviously is a good thing because
yeah,
If his assets were frozen while he was still owning Chelsea, then that would have had like a very detrimental impact on the club.
impact, yeah.
But yeah, that I guess that's just kind of current affairs and
Well, there's one more that my friend just texted me, and I
yeah.
had to research. Well, but guess what's made a return? Well, rumors have made a return.
What?
The Super League is back.
What?
I had to Google some news, but there's a lot of people talking on Twitter saying that it's coming back, that they're trying to restart it again.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I feel it might be inevitable to be fair because there've been
Yeah.
talks of Super League since like, I don't even early 2000s. Because obviously most of these owners, most of them are American, and
Mm.
if you look at America, most of the sports like there's no relegation, there's no whatever. Basically, what Super League is, that's what they have in America.
Yeah.
And personally, I do not like that one bit, man. Because
No, I like the
yeah,
way it is, man. Because lower teams, like you look at Leicester, man.
yeah,
Leicester,
yeah.
they worked with what they were in League Four at one point,
I think so. Yeah.
and they worked all the way up to winning Premier League, man. If you have no relegation, you're doing the same thing every single year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I like the concept or the fact that even like hashtag United, even though they're in
Mm.
like the tenth division or whatever,
Yeah,
like I like the fact that one day if these guys work hard enough, they can go all the way to the top.
yeah,
And yeah, because the whole thing with America, I feel America is too commercialized, man. Like I tried watching the Super Bowl and bro, like it was
just ads.
they'd play for like 2 minutes, a break, ads. Commentators, like I'm not even watching the sport. I'm listening to commentators most of the time. Like I don't even
Yeah,
understand what's going on. I guess the only sport that really is alright is basketball. That one is at least decent. NBA
yeah,
is alright, but like the American football, which is kind of the way Super League wants to go, yeah, it's not for me. I personally I can't see how people enjoy watching that. Like not in terms of a sport, but just in terms of the broadcasting. Like
yeah,
so many ads, so many breaks. Like it's just so broken up.
yeah. At
I
least with
can't.
football, like you get 15 minutes, and I feel like 15 minutes is good because like the players get to rest. All you have to do is you can go to the toilet, get some snacks, um,
Yeah,
and then
bro.
you're just back. You don't even watch the ads, man. You just
I
go,
know.
you just leave, or you change the channel for 15 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then I guess that's because football like generates so much more income on in other things.
Yeah, so I don't need it.
Because like American football, like honestly, apart from America, like there's not really, and maybe a bit of the UK, there's not really much hype. Like even in Africa, for example. But whereas
Yeah,
football, I feel is like so universal that it's able
yeah,
to generate revenue through various different things, which obviously is a good thing because keeps the game we love intact for the time
mm.
being.
Yeah. It's the fact that what six or yeah, five out of the seven continents have like a continental cup played
Mm.
every 4 years, like AFCON,
Yeah, yeah,
Europa, Copa. I think I don't Australia plays part of the Asian one, that don't
yeah. I
they?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's five out of seven. It's crazy. Like no other sport, I don't think does that.
Yeah, definitely, bro. It's a people's game, and so yeah. I mean, geez, we've been going on for I don't even know how long now.
Yeah, nearly 2 hours.
God damn, yeah. So talked hella about hella things. Your uni journey, your undergrad, masters. Now working in Kenya. Then obviously we had a bit about the football. So yeah, I mean it's been great having you on. Um, hopefully I see you soon. I mean I know you said you're
Yeah,
hoping to come back to the UK later this year. So hopefully that works out. Boys can link
do
up.
another Brighton trip with Tim.
Yeah, man. We've been trying to, bro. You guys, we've been trying to book a lads holiday for I don't even for like 5 years now, man. You guys are
Since that group chat started.
guys are lacking, bro.
I think that group chat was actually a holiday group chat.
It
And
was,
then
yes.
yeah.
And now it's transformed into I don't even know what, man. Yeah, it's never materialized, but yeah, hopefully, now that guys get a bit, bit settled in their lives, it can happen. But yeah, I mean, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it was tough to schedule this with your busy working schedule, but we made it work.
Yeah.
And yeah, this has been episode 2 of 22 and No Clue. Although I'm 23, all my guests have been 23 as well. But yeah, this has been your host Kalgar Sharu and my guest Joss Wardley. And yeah, if you listen this far, appreciate you. Bless. Peace.